Guys, here to talk about The Tick, Season 1, Episode 2.
The Patrick Warburton Tick.
Indeed. So, Episode 2 I didn't think was as strong as Episode 1.
It doesn't have a horrible Jimmy Carter part in it.
That's true.
That's worth a lot for me.
That
goes a long way.
We have a lot of dead people hauling. The guy who plays the immortal.
Oh God.
He is super familiar, and I couldn't place exactly what I'm familiar
I clocked
with
him in the
from.
credits. I had his name. I forget it already.
Perfect.
I may never have known his name. He is all over the place in like the 80s
He's like
and
the
early
boss
90s.
and the dad and a lot of things. Yeah.
He's amazing. I think he might be a stand-up, or he's just the guy that used to be cool and like hang out with people on like the radio shows and all that stuff. I think I've seen him around. I think he's dead. I think he's great.
Certainly plausible.
In that order.
Yeah.
No, he's wonderful, and it's almost just a cameo, which is weird, because he immediately dies. He talks a little after he dies.
He talks a little post,
but
yes.
But there's no, like, he's not a major part of it. This had Mystery Men vibes for me, where like you have a hero who's like a real hero.
Yes.
And then the other heroes are like, oh shit, and all that stuff. But having him immediately die is a whole new spin on it, and having the episode be structured with, as a funeral. Just imagine a week ago, and goes back and somehow tells all these people the story, and they're like, like the MPs are ready to tackle him off stage, sir. And he goes, I like the cut of this man's gibberish, or whatever. And you're like, oh, this is amazing. Okay, like I like it having a framing device like that, and I like it being like telling it in like flashback lets you just cut around and just show important parts.
That was needed.
All that stuff, yeah.
The one that stood out for me was I liked how earlier they mentioned he has heat vision, and later on they're like, well, what happened to your hair? Oh, when he got excited, his heat vision. Heat vision.
She was great. She really has a lot going for her. I like her a lot. Her whole range there.
I still haven't clicked like what else I know her
I clicked through her and
went
to the IMDb, and I still don't know.
Interesting.
She's one of the hardest working actresses in like television, and I have no idea who she is. But no, like the range there, because she's this hard ass, like I have to do this. Then he comes on to her, and then she's like, no, and then she's all like, she's like crying, like his heat vision, and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, you're great, you're actually wonderful. Because I thought she was gonna be like a drag, like you just have like these people, I want the Tick. Whatever, yeah, but they're good.
You were worried she'd always be a straight woman and never deliver?
The ensemble is good, basically.
No, they go well. I like Batman well. Like,
yes.
I like him. I love how his mask barely conceals his identity at all, and then he just has no problem not wearing a mask at all at parts. And of course, imposturing as the the immortal.
Where everyone's like, what? He's like a foot shorter, seemingly, or something.
He's a Spanish guy. Like,
it's wonderful. It's actually wonderful.
Worked for me.
Yeah, no, it's and like his he had like a few good lines. Yeah, when she's like, "You're nothing compared to him," and he goes, "I think I'm a better hero than him. I've slept with you several times, and I'm not dead."
Yes,
or whatever. And you're like, "Oh my God, it's amazing." They have this awesome like that aspect, and I realized after our last talk I may not have watched all of the cartoon Tick, which I love so much. I think only a part of it was on like Cartoon Network or Comedy Central or whatever, because you were mentioning things that I had no idea about. But it feels like this on-again, off-again things developed more here. And it has more going on or whatever, and I like that. And there's intro credits, so these are the only 4 characters we're ever going to see, apparently.
Yes.
Because Sir
Urchin
right. And no one else are like anywhere to be found.
And maybe you'll get cameos. So, I can't recall this series in its entirety, but I did not recall him ever joining the cast, of course.
That would make me happier.
Because they're often just sitting in a booth where it would be awkward.
There's only 4 seats in the booth. It's the Seinfeld formula. They didn't have 4 people. Yeah, they did. No, they didn't. Yeah, they did.
Didn't they?
Not all the time.
Well, it was Kramer.
He wasn't
George,
always
Elaine.
sitting at the booth. That's the whole thing. The booth was really full of 4 people. It could be sometimes, though. We have 1,697 hours to kill.
Yes. No, and
the Tick's naivete comes into play here,
and that's
a good thing.
That's the really endearing part about the Tick is his being the strongest man alive and the dumbest but good-hearted, good-heartedest. I'll go with that. human in quotes.
Yeah, it's wonderful. That's again like to whatever extent this can get to the core of like the Tick for me or whatever, right? That's the whole thing. They're all like, "Wait, who are you? What are you? How is this possible? How do you not know that potatoes can die?" And
he knows nothing.
And yet you can take like a missile launcher to the face and be like, "Oh, jeez, what's this?" Or whatever. Yeah, it's amazing. So again, we get to see all that on display here. There's a whole thing about death and all that stuff, which is great. Nowhere in his book did he mention that he was dead. Or all these things. And Arthur's just like, "You stupid fuck!" Like he's just like very angry at him. No, I didn't think I'd be smuggling the corpse of my childhood hero in a stolen car or whatever. All these things. And you're like, yes, wonderful.
And I think it was the last episode, but it bears mentioning when it runs out of the cab, he's like, "I have no money," and then Arthur has to run back and pay.
Who says I have no money?
The Tick. He gets out of the cab, he's like, "I have no money."
I didn't catch that, but I've reconstructed it in my mind, and
no, it's hysterical.
And it's golden.
And Arthur runs back to pay, and then the guy's like, "You idiot!" And the door's still open. He runs back a third time and closes the door.
I remember the closing of the door. That might have been this episode.
It might have been. I can't remember why they would be in a cab, but
yeah. Yeah. So this has all the normal, comedic trappings. We have a small amount of Weekend at Bernie's, but mostly just a flag-wrapped corpse getting hauled around. We got the wrong hotel. We got him throwing the corpse up.
I think I can make that.
I can make that from here. All that stuff, and then he's like, "Okay, Plan B." Or whatever.
Fortunately, the man's like invulnerable, so the body can keep getting destroyed.
They dropped that line in there where I'm like, "Oh, your powers work after you're dead, so his corpse can't be like destroyed." Because otherwise, yes, he would be a big mess.
A puddle.
It would be a big stain. It'd be a big
when
problem.
He doesn't fit in the trunk anymore. He's stiffer.
He's stiff now. He's not folding up properly. Yeah, it's very dumb. It's very good.
Ah, it's wonderful. Rigor mortis.
The other thing.
What do you got?
Unless you have
go ahead.
Whatever. The girl. Whose name I forget.
I was going to mention that earlier. So the girl who's like staring at Arthur across the way at the diner is drawing him apparently, and she's interested, but Arthur and a combo of friends just kind of blow it, and then later he gets another chance, and where he's become the more of the man. He's more of a hero than he was earlier.
Yes, character growth. Very important.
And he actually gets that number. And that beautiful drawing of himself.
And he had a girlfriend on the cartoon show, who I guess this is, but I forget her name. So here we are.
Yeah.
But it was nice. We always had like a foil or like a whatever thing, because Arthur would start to get swept up in the crazy superhero stuff, and she'd be like, "Is that what are you doing?" or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever, arguing about stuff.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be good to have another character. We'll see how this unfolds for Arthur.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's gonna be done versus how in the original source material.
I can't recall much of this show. It didn't leave the impression, which is odd because it was in my wheelhouse of times where it should have left an impression,
or it should have been remembered forever.
Yeah, but
okay.
No. What else happened in this episode?
Hotlines. Squeeze the milk of life into your dirty glass and drink deeper, or whatever he says. And then he says, "Oh, look at me babbling like the brook who knew too much," or whatever he says.
He has some great lines, and it's mostly in the delivery.
Oh, 100%. Which I'm doing my best, but it's difficult. No, it's 100% the delivery, and that's like that's where it's finding its like niche for me. Like I said, is like that's the Tick's weird. And I'm saying naivete, whatever, but I'm not sure if that's even a word. The way I'm pronouncing
naivete is a word.
Naivete, whatever. But I don't even know if that's quite right. Innocence, maybe something like that.
Yes, he's very innocent. He has like a childlike sense of idiocy.
Yes. And Warburton can like pull those things off
because he has the face that like really sells it. Yeah,
all that stuff. Because there's parts where it's like, well, that's just a joke. Someone just wrote a joke and you just said the joke, and I'm not really into that. But other parts where it's just like, well, hang on there, pal, and it goes into a weird thing. And no, Tick, that's not how it works. And he's like, come on. And like those are like the awesome like things that are like clicking for me that I'm enjoying a lot.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting show, and it's almost hard to believe that it even existed. Because it's a weird thing to be pitching to do, and clearly it didn't really land because it didn't last even a full season. But it's nice to know that it was even thought of to be like, oh, we'll do this thing, and then as they pick it up, 20 years later, they did it a little bit better.
Okay.
In I think the terms of it surviving a full season, and it is a different show, but it has a lot more money now, a lot more time. Finding its home on Amazon versus a network channel, I think helped it a lot.
Is that show still going? Did it get canceled?
I believe it was renewed for a second season.
Okay. We should keep this Tick train going.
We could easily pick up the Tick after the Tick. Yeah,
that would be a great contrast and compare thing,
and then go back to the cartoon.
Revisit the cartoon and be like, I was so wrong. This show's awful, right? That'd be very fun. No, that show's great. Like the moon still has part of Chair's name written in it. For episodes later, it still has like Cha or whatever on it. Oh god, the show's wonderful, and this show's not that bad either.
Yeah, no, this is fine. That's pretty much everything that happened this episode. All right, guys, let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.